Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today we have Eleanor Healy on the show with us, a brand new guest, brand new speaker to our show. And today, Eleanor is going to be talking about how you deserve love, even with all of your flaws. And we all have a few, right? But we all do deserve love. And so today, what we're going to be talking about, or what we're going to learn or experience, is some spiritual practices that are actually keeping love away from you. We're going to learn about those. We're going to learn and talk about how to shift your energy from passively waiting into powerful receiving of love, including self-love and acceptance. And I think for me, that is even more important than love from anywhere else, like from another person. The self-love and the self-acceptance are, to me, are key to really bringing in any other type of love. So we're going to talk about that and so much more. And for those of you who don't know Eleanor, she is an internationally known intuitive love coach. She helps you break down the barriers to finding your true mate, even if you feel like it's never going to happen. And with her proprietary process and powerful ability to see the highest possibilities for you, you can finally have the love you are truly meant to have now. No waiting. She is a powerful healer and sharply accurate intuitive with over 15 years of experience, and she also overcame the deeply ingrained patterns that kept her trapped in painfully dysfunctional relationships, followed by years of feeling desperately isolated and lonely. And so we're going to talk about her story, and how she found her, soulmate, love mate, and how you can too. So we're going to talk about that. And we might even bring in a little bit of my story, because as you all know, I found love of my life, and it's like, he's amazing. So Eleanor, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. I love this energy, and I love connecting to everyone here today, and I'm very excited about what's going to come through.
Awesome. Thank you. And so before we go into asking questions and getting into your story, I just want to tell everybody really quickly that if you do have questions for Eleanor, you can raise your hand or you can type your questions in the chat. So we will be taking some live caller questions. We're going to be doing some guided process or two. We'll see what wants to come through. And who knows what else, right? It's always about in the flow and in the moment. So, so Eleanor, because it's your first time being on our show, can you just share a little bit about your story, how you became an intuitive coach, and specifically, handling the issues of love and finding your soulmate and relationships, but also you are very intuitive. You're very empathic and very intuitive, and you're highly skilled. I had a session with you a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing. So it goes beyond just, finding your soulmate, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes. My own journey started, as you said, being very empathic as a child and very sensitive, and having, this ability to pick up on everybody's emotions, what everyone was, doing and happening around me, and just really taking it into my body. And because of the volatile environment I grew up in, my parents weren't able to actually model a healthy, functional, loving relationship with each other. They were having their own struggles. And so I took on all of that energy as well. And so I had to deal, it was almost like a storm of emotions always, surrounding me, and having to deal with that and not really understanding what was happening to me, and the fact that I was very empathic. So over time, I started to develop, physical conditions, digestive issues, skin issues, chronic anxiety, panic attacks, you name it. Things just started to pile on top of each other, physically, emotionally, and all kinds of things. So I had to basically, the way I can see it is, crawl out of that well of, overwhelming emotions, energy, everything around me, and start to master my own energy and master my own connection to myself and what I refer to as my true self, in order to really feel that I deserved love. And what we're going to talk about today is that's the main topic. But I had to go through many years of dysfunctional relationships, so attracting men who had alcohol dependency and drug addiction, just all kinds of, the worst of the worst you could imagine kind of relationships, and had to really navigate through that to figure out, okay, I don't really want to experience this anymore, obviously. And so my go-to reaction to that was to be single for long periods of time. And that didn't work either, because then I became, depressed, isolated, feeling like, I'm so lonely and why can't I have a relationship? And so it was almost like going from one extreme to the other, and then deciding, this is not working for me. I have a big purpose in life. I need to get out there and start helping people. And when I'm all over the place with myself and relationships, I'm not able to do that. So I finally had what I recall as a enough is enough moment. And I said, okay, I'm done with these kind of relationships. I'm done with going through all of these things physically, emotionally. And I had a talk with the universe, and I said, there's got to be another way. And I would refer to it as kind of being on my hands and knees and saying, okay, I'm in a desperate situation. I don't want to be doing this any longer. I don't want to be experiencing this any longer. So what can I do? And I had to really witness all of my pain and work through it and use the processes that I do today with other people to really just find myself, and then realize that I can actually have a healthy relationship and still be going through these things as a work in progress. We all here are human, and we're still developing and evolving. And I can actually have a relationship while I'm doing that. So that was my biggest breakthrough a few years ago, in terms of having a supportive relationship and going through what I'm going through at the same time, and evolving together and rising together. So that's my journey. And the in-between times, I was helping people with chronic conditions and physical illness, and developing my psychic abilities and my healing abilities. And the relationship piece was really the last thing that fell into place. That was what I've always meant to be doing, but I had to get to that level within myself to start helping people with that. So
awesome. Thank you. And, the whole relationship piece is a big piece for a lot of people. But, and it's not just about the relationship with another person, but it's also the relationship with yourself, right? Yes. So loving yourself, accepting yourself. And when you can do that, I think that's when you have the ability to allow somebody else to love and accept you for who you are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's like you have to be able to see all parts of yourself, and what I call, holding yourself in that witness, observer standpoint, and saying, okay, this is who I am as a complete whole. These are my flaws, I'm saying quotes, my flaws. This is what's wrong with me. And, this is my shadow, or that these are the things that I have a hard time looking at, but I'm still going to see myself fully and witness myself and hold myself in that self-acceptance. And the more you can do that, and the deeper you can do that for yourself, the more you can allow somebody else to witness you at that level. So it's getting to that, it's really about self-acceptance, to the point where you can say, okay, I have all these things that I'm working on, or things that I feel are not good enough. I'm willing to look at it for myself, and I'm willing to let someone else in on that journey. And that's really where things start to turn. You say, okay, I can look at all of these parts of myself, love and accept all of this as a work in progress, and then invite somebody else in to say, you can be part of this evolution of me, and offer it for someone else as well.
Awesome. Beautiful. I love that. And you're right. One of the key points you made was that we are a work in progress. We are, there's no question. So one of the things for me is I don't like to use the word flaws. Instead of, I like to use the word quirks. I have these quirks, and, I'm okay with my quirks. I totally accept my quirks. This is how I am. And until I want to change them, then it's like, okay, you know what? Okay, let's change it because it's not working for me anymore. Right. So that's when I would change it. So I don't consider them flaws per se. And this get that, one of the things is, my husband, he just loves and accepts me. No questions. He doesn't, it's like amazing. Right. So I can be completely my quirky self and not feel like I'm going to be judged, like he's going to judge me or think I'm bad or think I'm wrong or think anything. He doesn't, right? Which is like amazing. And he's the first person that I've had that experience with, because he's my third marriage this lifetime, last, no more. Right? But I never felt so comfortable with him as I never felt so comfortable with the other two as I do with him. With him, it's like total comfortableness, like no questions, right?
Yeah.
And that freedom, right? And it's freedom to be me, who I am, without any walls or masks or barriers or anything up, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the reason I call it flaws is a lot of people I work with in my own tribe, they tend to be attracted to me because they have, physical conditions of some kind that, like I said, took me over 20 years to overcome all of these digestive issues like IBS and skin, like chronic issues
Mm-hmm.
that were on the physical, that people identify that as a flaw, or having, some kind of illness, or something they're struggling with emotionally, such as anxiety, all
Right.
of these things that I went through. So my, community tends to identify with that word, because I totally agree with you in terms of quirks, and we all have these things we're uncomfortable about, but it tends to be the people I work with have things they're really trying to overcome that are these chronic conditions, and they feel are much more, than quirks. So that's the only reason I would call it flaws. But I agree with you. It is all part of us, and it is part of accepting who we are. And I say it with, the quotes, because I don't believe they are flaws,
Yeah.
but that's how people may identify themselves as having those kind of flaws.
Oh no, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like, however you identify yourself or how you identify yourself with is fine, but just remember that there is that room for loving yourself, accepting yourself, right? So I really want to talk about the process of knowing, embodying, and accepting yourself. And so these concepts of knowing, it's not a mental concept, it's an inner knowing, right? And the same thing with the acceptance, the self-acceptance is much deeper than the mental concept, right?
Absolutely, yes. So I wanted to actually just mention to everyone who's on the call, whether it's live or replay, I work with source energy. So I always bring that in with me to assist us. And what this energy will do, you may be feeling, muscle twitching, or just a lightness or opening of the heart, or things moving within you energetically, or you may have new insights, or, it basically just helps the energy open up to whatever you need to know on that deeper level for yourself to move forward, to have a breakthrough in healing today. So that's what is assisting us right now. So I just wanted to mention that in the beginning, that if you're feeling like, oh, there's, things happening or moving or energy, that's part of the call today.
Mm-hmm.
And it will assist us in knowing and embodying this. I'm going to actually do a process. I did get a download before the call started. I tuned into the audience. And then again, this is live or replay, whoever's watching this, that one of our biggest fears in finding love is not our flaws. It's actually below, deeper than that. It's like we come up with all these reasons that we can't have love, but really what's underneath it is this deep fear of loss. So what came up was, I'm getting goosebumps right now. What came up was that quote, better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. And the people that I actually am talking to right now would say, no, it's better to not love, because I can't have any more loss. I cannot deal with any more loss.
Right.
So that's actually the deeper fear, and I'm getting major goosebumps here. The deeper fear is the loss. So it's maybe we've had so much loss in our life, so much heartbreak, so many things have happened in relationships. Maybe you've had the same thing, struggling with dysfunctional relationships over and over again. And to you, maybe it's better to isolate yourself. And that seems like a better alternative than to open your heart to love again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of what I'm getting for the audience today. And what I heard in terms of help and assistance for you is that the heart is extremely resilient, and that the heart has an endless capacity to heal itself. Same with the body, but I'm, today in terms of talking about love and relationships, the heart itself can repair and repair and repair. And so as long as we're willing to actually open up and take that risk again, we can fully heal and integrate and evolve into this amazing, loving relationship that we have, that is available to us. So that's one thing. If you want to do a process now, we could actually do that. It feels like
Yeah, okay,
Nice.
sure. And I was just gonna say, if you're feeling hot like me, it's just
Yeah.
energy as well. It's like
Right, it's exactly. So we're starting to really get into that energy of, okay, how can we really embody this self-acceptance, this self-love, and open up to love and move past that fear of loss. And that's really how we're going to embody this acceptance. So this process is what feels like it wants to come through to
awesome.
help you with that. So yeah.
Let's do it then.
All right.
If it wants to come in now, we'll let it come in now.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, yes, we're ramping up. This is exciting. All right. So everyone can just, if you are able to close your eyes right now, if you're in a place where you can close your eyes. And we're just going to tune into our body right now. The key piece of self-acceptance is really being awake to our body on the physical level, as well as the emotional, energetic. We're going to start in the body. So just taking a couple of breaths into the physical body and release. And really just witnessing and feeling the presence of your own body. And now we're going to connect into the earth. So feeling the presence of your feet, imagining that your feet are melting into the earth. Roots are growing through the feet, going all the way into the core of the earth, through all the layers of the earth, to connect to this well of unconditional love from Mother Earth, bringing up this loving energy into the body, all the way through the roots, up into the feet. As you bring in this unconditional love, it is giving you an experience of accepting yourself fully and completely on every level, at the deepest level of knowing, embodying, self-acceptance, and self-love. So this energy from the earth is mirroring to you what it feels like to be in full acceptance of all that is, whether it's your body, your mental body, emotional, energetic, every level of you, witnessing and being open to seeing, feeling, and experiencing yourself as you are. So this is a come as you are party of self-reflection and self-acceptance. And as we continue to bring this unconditional love in through the body, up through the legs, into the chakras, the energy centers, allowing them to open up in full acceptance. So it's like a blooming of a flower, allowing all the chakras to open and bloom as we bring this energy all the way up into the heart. And as we enter the heart and this unconditional love pours into the heart, it allows us to flush out anything that has been in the way of us embodying, loving, accepting, seeing, witnessing, holding space for ourselves. It allows anything that has interfered with that to release and fall into the earth, easily letting it go. Just dropping into the earth, going back to source. It's no longer needed in your body, in your experience, so that the heart can fully bloom and start its process of regeneration, repairing itself, opening up to love, opening up to more love, deeper love of yourself, that in turn will attract and bring in a reflection of your love for your mate, from your mate. Bringing this energy up into the shoulders and the arms, all the way up into the throat, allowing you to express yourself in true self-acceptance. Up into the head, dissolving all the thoughts and doubts and fears about who you are, being good enough for love, being able to handle love, dissolving all those thoughts and connecting you to the greater mind. And allowing this energy to release out through the crown, connecting you as above, so below in this beautiful energetic bath of self-acceptance and love. So I want you to notice right now that this is acceptance. This is not changing anything about you. This is not adjusting, shifting, changing. This is merely connecting you to that love of yourself as you are. And helping you to connect into the truth that you can have love as you are right now. You are worthy, you are able, and all you have to be is willing to allow this to come in right now as you are. This is our intention for today's process, and it feels very strong. So if you want to internally commit to yourself right now that you're willing to be open to receiving love in a form of a relationship, a loving, committed relationship as you are right now, you can affirm to yourself. And so it is. We're going to come back into the room. So just slowly bringing yourself back to the awareness of the room you're in your body, feeling totally rejuvenated and connected. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. When the eyes water, that's really the energy just flowing through.
I'm still kind of coming back. Yeah, I was just gonna say that was lovely. And Linda just said it. That was lovely. That was.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, I'm slowly coming back to myself, and that's the thing. Is like that energy or that state of being, of self-acceptance, of self-love, of knowing yourself and who you truly are, is such an expansive state that sometimes you don't really want to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to come back, but I must because I need to do the show. But yeah. Can I just stay here for a little while longer? Right?
Yeah, and I mean, you can even connect into those kind of expansive states during the day if you start to feel, your confidence is waning, or you start feeling like, oh, I have all these problems or issues, and I don't really feel that good about myself. You can always go back to that, and that's another part of the message is you can connect to that part of yourself at any time. It's just a matter of closing your eyes and just connecting into the body, into the heart space, and saying, this is me, this is who I am, this is my true self, and just really feeling that connection at the core. And that's how we embody things. That's how we embody those truths we were talking about, is just connecting into that aspect that I call your true self.
Absolutely. And we all have that. This is not the egoic self, but this is your inner core, your true being that you are. That's your true self. So Angela's saying that brought out something uncomfortable. My ankle started aching. I guess I'm still holding on to unresolved issues.
Yeah, so when we feel things in our body as showing up, or through pain or discomfort, or something starts to show up, it's what is leaving your experience. So you can just lovingly witness that and say, okay, there's my ankle is feeling discomfort. That's where the energy's been sitting. So that's part of my gift, is I see where the stagnant energy is sitting and what the message is behind it. And we don't even really have to fully understand it, just witnessing it. Okay, this is in my ankle, and it feels like, a bit of disappointment is what I'm getting for the ankle. So that can be your theme. Okay, this is some of the disappointment I felt over the years, and I'm releasing that right now. I'm letting that go. I'm letting the disappointment go to open up to excitement, open up to love, to adventure, to all of these new energies that want to come in.
Awesome. Thank you. And that is, I have to say for Angela, that is spot on, the disappointment energy for
Mm-hmm.
Angela. You can confirm, but let's, I know Angela, so I know that is spot on.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, Beatty has had her hand raised for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. 1 second. Hello?
Yes. And you put his name?
Yes.
And it says yes.
Hello?
Does he know?
Eddie? Beatty?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
I don't see you
thank
yet.
you.
I don't know where you are.
Oh,
But
I know. I know. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for taking my call. Can you read my energy to see where I'm blocking? I was in a marriage for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I divorced 2016. I was seeing that man. I thought we were gonna get married. He said he was, but didn't work out. It was really, hurt me when we broke up. And I just want to know what's going on now. It's just been me. Are you able to do that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
So and that was, sorry, how do you pronounce your name?
Betie.
BT.
Betie.
Okay.
I'm in Georgia. So
Okay. Thank you for coming on the call.
Well, of course, thank you.
So when I tuned in, I can see your heart is like this volcano. So it's almost like this huge amount of pain in the heart, energetically, emotionally, on all levels. And it's almost like I want to say a war zone there. So this is going perfectly with what I was saying earlier, is the heart is extremely resilient. So for you, the best way forward is going to be start affirming that the heart can heal no matter what. And that even though you've gone through these very painful experiences in the past, it doesn't mean that your heart will not open up to love again. And it doesn't mean that you're not able to have love again or have the relationship that you desire. So the message that wants to come through for you is one of hope, and that not all is lost. You have not lost the capacity to have love, even with all of this heartbreak. And so we're sending energy to the heart space as white light to really start to help the heart to regenerate, repair itself, open up, soothe those wounds, and help you to connect to that feeling of hope again. So are you feeling anything in your body right now? Anything energetically going on?
I'm not sure. I don't usually feel energy, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just know that I'm scared to trust. If somebody's talking to me, I'm like, what they want.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I'm seeing there's a lot of stuff going on in the heart where you have actually closed down that trust because you think that, oh, all of this heartbreak means I'm not going to be able to have it again. So just try opening up your heart. The energy, you don't have to actually feel the energy to have it help you. So just trust in the fact right now that you are receiving the energy and that it's helping you with that trust and that you are resilient and that you can have love again. So just affirming, yes, I can have love again. And with this past relationship, it feels like he got really scared and ran away, essentially. So
Yes.
you actually need someone who's stronger for you, who is going to show up for you and not get scared and run away.
Yeah, you're right.
Does that make
He
sense?
did. Yeah, he said he was going to ask me to marry him, and then he ran away literally.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
We started going to marriage counseling, and then all of a sudden he broke up with me.
Yeah. It feels like you need someone who's a lot stronger, who can actually show up for you, because it feels like your energy is very strong and you have a very strong presence, and some men will get scared. So just the more strong you become, the more you will attract someone who's as strong as you are. So affirming this, you have a little bit of a lack of confidence right now because of what has happened.
Yeah.
But just connect back into your confidence and your resilience, and it will start to, kind of magnetize that stronger person for you.
Yeah, I have a question. Does that issue with my right eye. I just can't see, and it's like my vision in there is progressively getting worse, and stuffiness, and it's at the right side that's really bad, and my nose, sinus issues, and congestion in the chest. Is that part of it, do you think?
It feels like, well, the right side is the masculine, so that was coming up right away. So it's resolving the issues of masculine energy. So you're stronger than you think. This is kind of a fear of masculine energy. So again, you've got to go back in and say, connect to your heart and say, I'm stronger than I think I am. I'm stronger, even if I don't feel confident right now, I'm stronger than I think I am. And the more you can affirm that to yourself, the more the fear of masculine energy is going to dissipate. That's what I'm feeling in the side there. So the energy that you've received today is going to help you with that too. But it's just all about connecting to yourself and saying, I am strong. I am a beautiful person. I can have love again. Those kind of affirmations are going to help.
Oh, strong, beautiful love again. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you.
So,
Linda, you want to ask a question? Is it about relationships? Okay, then go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Linda.
Can you read my energy as far as what's being blocked right now?
With relationship?
I'm in a, pardon?
With relationship? Be specific, Linda. You know me.
Yes, with relationships. Yes. Especially, well, I live with a narcissist, so it's really difficult. So, you know.
So you're in a relationship right now?
Yeah, for 46 years or something. But the last 3 have been not very good.
Okay, so you don't feel appreciated right now?
Never.
Okay. That's the first thing that popped up. So
thank you.
The question that wants to come through is, do you appreciate yourself?
Oh, yeah. I think I do.
Okay. There's something underneath that maybe, okay. Do you see yourself as someone who deserves to be appreciated? That's another question.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I ever get that.
Right. So on some level, you have it's sort of a disconnect. That's the block, is you intellectually know that you're a good person and that you should be appreciated, and you can see the gap between what you want to experience, as in receiving appreciation, and what's actually happening. And the gap is the block there that you say, oh, I do appreciate myself and I do deserve to be appreciated. But underneath that, in the subconscious, it's like, I don't really know if I deserve to be appreciated, because you don't really see all of the good things about yourself. Have you actually done anything like in journaling or meditation where you sit down and just appreciate yourself in all the many ways that you've helped people over the years, that you've been present with family, that you have been there in the hard times and the good times? Have you sat down to actually go over all of that to appreciate yourself?
No.
Okay, so that's a really good place to start. That's the very strong message and a concrete thing that you can actually do to bring up that energy of appreciation and to resolve that conflict. Because, well, even now as I'm bringing it forward to your conscious awareness, you're going to see it more that, oh, okay, I think I want to be appreciated and I know I should be appreciated, but do I really believe that I deserve to be appreciated? So getting into the energy of appreciation and just meditating or journaling about all of the things you've done over the years and the type of person you are, and, you know, writing down some of your favorite things about yourself is going to just bathe you in this appreciation energy and really shift that for you. And it feels like it's already starting to shift. Just like I said, sometimes all we need to know is just be consciously aware of it, and then it starts to shift.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Linda. And that is actually for everybody, not just for Linda, but for all of us, because I think we all at some point feel underappreciated.
Yes.
You know? Like,
Absolutely.
very often. I mean, I have that. It's like, oh my God, you know, not from my husband per se, but you know, just in general in the world, right? It's like I'm not feeling appreciated, and so then it is good to look at yourself and say, well, you know, to confirm or acknowledge yourself, you know, as well, right? All the good things that you do, and so on and so forth. So yeah, great exercise, great process to do for yourself. Anybody and everybody, please do it. Because you are all amazing, and there is so much to appreciate about you, but we don't do that. We appreciate other people much more easily and readily than we do ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
And it's uncomfortable because we're not used to it, but that's how we're going back to what we said in the beginning is, how do you really embody this acceptance and love and magnetize that love towards you? It's by doing the uncomfortable things, looking at yourself, appreciating yourself, cheering yourself on. All of these things are uncomfortable, but that's what's going to change the energy and then change your experience with love.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. And so Caroline was asking about if you have any wisdom on hot flashes, and if hot flashes are any way related to, you know, I mean, I'm sure they are related to relationships as well. And let's face it, you know, when we're uncomfortable in the body with hot flashes, how can we even think about, you know, a relationship, right?
Absolutely. So the first thing is that heat or anything like that is always a healing. It's an indication of a large amount of energy going through our body. So it's either shifting something very in a very extreme way, or bringing something up that needs to be released, and we feel it as heat. So yes, that in a general sense is what's happening. So maybe you're having a time where you're purging a lot of things, or where you're getting to a certain point in your life where you're not willing to hold on to certain things anymore, and it's starting to really shift out of you, and you experience it as hot flashes. And it comes at a certain time in life where we're at an age where we're not willing to put up with things we did when we were younger. So that feels like the connection between those kind of symptoms and what you'd experience physically and emotionally. So it's being at that point in life where it's like, no, I'm not willing to accept that anymore. I don't want to carry this around. This old pattern is no longer serving me, and I'm going to get rid of it. And so it feels like just these really huge shifts in energy. So that was the one question. And did I answer the other one? I forget. I got off on a track there. That's the connection I'm getting between hot flashes and energetic shifting is like we get to the space and time and the stage in life where we're not willing to accept what we have previously accepted, and you know, whether it's with ourselves or other people.
Yeah.
And we start to have huge purges and shifts in our energy.
Yeah. She agrees. She said,
okay.
So Elena, go. If you want to ask a question, you want to unmute yourself. I can unmute you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see all of you. I have a question. I am a very spiritual person and very gentle person. And lately I received, because I will say I run away from that. I feel like I quit on a Friday, that relationship, because the gentleman is what I'm receiving, very physical guys. I like tall, big guys, but I want to see, because I'm very spiritual. I'm meditating, the Reiki healing, all kinds of stuff. And the guys I'm receiving, those ones who don't even know how to open a door, can bring me flowers. And I tell that, I explain because I like to take care of the people. I like to cook something special or do. And the last Friday was my cup over, because when I see it, especially when someone tell like flowers, and then I don't see anything, then I don't see nobody. That person have no idea how to work with the woman. Very physical men. I'm receiving only physical men right now. I want to see. I'm looking for a soulmate who is actually both.
What do you mean by physical? What do you mean by physical?
Two, you know, like rough speaking, not knowing, like there is no spirituality there. There is only like manly stuff, you know, straightforward.
So no romance, no.
No, I'm missing that. I can't be missing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have amazing energy, and just being in your energy is like, oh, it's so beautiful. But also, you're not acknowledging your fierce power too. That's the first thing that came up. Is you are, you're saying that you're very gentle, and the way you're describing yourself is gentle. You're very fierce also and powerful, and you're not acknowledging that about yourself. And so you're kind of seeing attracting these men who are physical and physically powerful and present in their own body and on this 3D earth, like solid. And it's because it's trying to show you that you need to actually acknowledge this fierce power within your body, within your presence, within who you are, because you're too much up in the energetics. You have to get into your body more into the present moment, the solid, the 3D.
Down to the earth. Okay.
Down to the earth, right. And these men are trying to actually anchor you and show you this the body, the physical, everything. You need to get down into your body. So, and then you can hone your, what type of traits and things you want to attract in a man. But right now, the biggest thing coming through is acknowledging your fierce power and being in your body and acknowledging that the tangible 3D world.
Okay.
Grounding yourself. So doing things like imagining your legs are like tree trunks, or doing gardening, or getting your hands in the soil.
Gardening, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do all of those things and really concentrate on being in your body. That's going to help you a lot.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Elena. And part of that also, for after Elena's grounded in her body, is also about you acknowledging or saying to yourself, how do you want to be treated? Right? Mm-hmm. You have to know how you want to be treated. Right?
Absolutely.
And because you're going to train the guy to treat you the way that you want, basically. Mm-hmm. Okay? So men don't always know, right? We have to tell them, mm-hmm. I don't like this. I like this. I like to do this. However it is that you would like to have a relationship or friendship, starting off with a friendship, whatever it happens to be, you have to train them in what you want. Okay?
Absolutely, yes. You have to be very specific, and the awareness is going to come from being very present and aware in your body. You're going to have more knowledge of what you actually desire on every level, physically, emotionally, everything. But it really starts with being in your body, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you. And I just wanted to bring up something really quickly that a lot of women do. Thank God I don't, and I don't think I ever have. But a lot of women, they, because at the beginning earlier on you were talking about loss, but when I was thinking about the loss, I was thinking about the losing yourself in the relationship, because you start to be and do all the things that the man wants or the other person wants, and you don't want to do what you want because you just want to be liked and so on and so forth. So can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Absolutely. So when I was telling my story and talking about attracting men who had addictions, and it's the other side of that is being codependent, which is exactly what you're describing, in a psychological term. Mm-hmm. Being codependent means that you basically give up all of your own interests to have love. And there's a desperation. I've written about this and talked about it a lot, about being in a space of desperation, which I was for so many years. It's like you'll do anything for love. You'll twist yourself into knots. You'll be like an emotional pretzel just to have that love, the feeling. And the source of that is really not understanding the love you have within yourself, and not understanding that you are lovable, and feeling disconnected from yourself. So it all, again, goes back to being connected to your true self, to unravel all of those stories, identities, pieces, conditioning that has come in to pull you away from yourself, to make you think that you need love from somebody else, that you need to get it from someone else, that you need to take it, that you are without it, that you are, empty of love. All of these misconceptions and limiting beliefs that happen through childhood and growing up. I totally understand getting into that space, but to reverse it and start unraveling it, you have to go back to the source and say, okay, I am reaching out to someone. I'm saying I need them to do XYZ to feel loved. I need someone in my life so that I don't feel unloved. I need someone in my life so I don't feel alone. All of these needs, the feeling behind it is desperation. So if you are experiencing what you would describe as desperation when it comes to love, immediately stop and go back into yourself, whether it's through meditation, connecting through your heart, journaling, connecting to your body somehow, and getting back into the truth of who you are, that you are actually, made of love. You are that love that you're seeking. And I don't know if this is making sense, but yeah, the way I see it energetically is reaching out, and you've got to pull that energy back in, connect to the core of your own energy, and start to fill yourself with that energy.
Awesome. Thank you. And, because it is a pattern for a lot of women. And I was thinking, do I do that? Well, I don't think so. But I gave up my whole life and moved to Vienna. So maybe no.
No, that's different. It's how you feel about it. So this is a very good way. So our feelings will give us an indication.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something, like you said, to move to another city for somebody, how does it feel? Do you feel like, oh, if I don't do this, there's a feeling of desperation and fear comes up, like, oh, if I don't do this, I'm not going to be loved. Mm-hmm. If I don't do this, what's going to happen? My whole world is going to fall apart. So if you're feeling like those type of things, then that's the codependent. That's really being outside of yourself. That's running after love. But if you feel like, oh, I want to be with this person and I can't wait. I don't care what I have to do to be with them. I don't care, where we go as long as I'm with him or her. If that's the feeling and it's expansive and your heart just gets so excited, then that obviously is you wanting to be with that person, and that your hearts together create an amazing exponential increase in this love energy. That's the difference. And in the pattern and how you feel about those decisions. So always check into yourself, like, am I doing something because I need this and I feel like my whole life is going to fall apart without it? Or am I doing this because I'm just drawn to this person, I want to be with them and expand my love energy?
And it feels good.
And it feels good, exactly. Yeah.
It's expansive, yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, when I go back home to Canada, I'm good for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. After that, it's like, oh my God. And and I say to my husband, oh my God, why did I say I was going to come for 2 months or 6 weeks or whatever, however long I went? It's like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Why didn't you stop me? Why didn't you tell me no?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can do 2-3 weeks. After that, it's like, no. So Angela is asking, she said, emotionally, I feel like my relationships ended. I seem like an observer holding on for the sake of the children. Can I get a reading into my energy? And Angela, if you want to come on, because I know you might be able to, just unmute yourself. If you can. I'm not sure if it's, you have, I'm still sweating. It's like, oh my God.
A lot of energy, a lot of.
Yeah. Exactly.
So is it hot? Is it hot where you are? Probably.
Yeah, it's okay, but it's not that hot now here. Okay, all right. So Angela can't come on, I guess, because she might have too much noise where she is in the background. So yeah, so she feels like her relationship ended emotionally. Yeah, can't come on. I've seen people around. Yeah, but I figured she always has people around. There's always somebody holding on for the sake of children.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You want me to say more about the relationship, Angela, that I know about, or not?
I can tell you what I have so far.
Yeah, I'll let you tap in.
So when I tuned in, it was crossroads. I was hearing crossroads, and right now it's not necessarily about making a big choice. It's what's your preference. and it may sound simplistic, but it's really the universe is saying, you're at a point where no matter what you do, you're strong enough to make that decision for yourself. But it's tuning in and saying, what is my preference? How do I want to live my life? What do I want to accomplish in terms of love? How do I want to feel? How do I want my children to feel? And what is your preference? You know, do I want to be with this person or not? And it sounds, again, like it's a simplistic choice, and I'm not saying it's easy or simple, but the universe is trying to give it to you in a very simple way. What is your preference? Who do you want to be with? Do you want to be in this relationship, or don't you want to be in the relationship? Because either way, everything's going to work out fine, and it's a crossroads. So you're strong enough to make that decision within yourself in that way. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Let us know how that resonates with you, Angela. There was something else that came through just a second ago. Was around, it could be around destiny or something, but are some relationships destined to happen? Like, are people destined to be together, fated to be together?
This is a perfect segue into twin flames, soulmates, all of that stuff. What I've been learning and what I have really received as downloads over the years is we can fall into traps where we say, I want my soulmate, or I am here to be with my twin flame. And it's like your energy shuts down to anything else that's coming in. And the universe will not give you one choice in life. The universe will not give you one way of having this loving connection with someone. So in other words, yes, we are destined to be with people. Yes, there are twin flames. I do believe in that. What I don't believe in is shutting off all other possibility while you sit there and wait for that one thing to happen. Yeah. Because that collapses all your possibilities. You can actually have a relationship that is amazing and spiritual and what I would call sacred, that's not your twin flame, but it's just as good or maybe even better. So again, it's our preference and what we are open to. Are you open to a loving relationship in whatever form it shows up? Or do you want to wait for that one destiny? So I don't believe in one choice, one mate, one relationship. This is the do or die. I have to wait around for this. I don't believe in that at all. That's not been my experience or with anyone I've worked with. There's infinite possibilities, and we can be with our destiny, our destined relationship, and then, maybe have another destined relationship. So it's not that there's only one. That's the strongest message coming through is don't shut down your possibilities and choices because you're waiting for the one, because that's not how the world works. There's, like infinite possibilities. And as we make different choices in our lives and become different energetically or show up in a different way, then all these other possibilities open up. So there's constantly, it's almost like timelines collapsing and opening up into all these different choices as we navigate through our life.
Absolutely. So, the short answer is don't wait, enjoy your life, enjoy the relationship, see what's coming through. And, if it feels good and light and expansive, take a step and see where it goes. Don't just wait for that big, thing. Obviously, for me, this is my third marriage. So obviously I wasn't waiting around.
Yeah.
But for me, it was divinely guided, just the way it happened, just the way that we met, all that stuff. But I wasn't looking for it. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't looking for it. It just happened, and it ends up being like the most wonderful relationship I can possibly imagine. So is he my soulmate? Is he my twin flame? I don't even know, and I don't care. Like, I'm not into those labels. But it was, to me, it was one of those divinely guided relationships, and whether it's destiny, whether it's fate, whatever it is. But I took the chance and I took the risk, right? So when I met him first, all my fears came up, like so many fears. And then for each one, I had to choose, am I going to follow the fear or I'm going to follow love? Am I going to follow fear or am I going to follow love? Like so many times, right? And so even though it felt really light and right and good and all that wonderful stuff, and we did the whole long distance thing for years, but I still had to choose.
Yes,
absolutely. I still had to choose for myself, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, until all my fears were finally gone.
Yeah, I mean, can I say something about divine timing? Because that's one of the things that also gets people stuck. And what you were saying in the beginning, I wanted to talk about some of the spiritual, I don't know what the guidance that we receive from a lot of sources say, you know, the divine timing and all this stuff. I actually feel that it is a huge trap in some cases as well, where people will become spiritually passive or energetically passive, where they'll say, oh, well, you know, I can't quite figure this out, but I'm just going to be open to divine timing and my relationship will come in. And it feels disempowering to me. And in my experience, it is another kind of trap that our mind gets us into, where like, oh, well, I'll just wait for divine timing. Yeah. So what I would say to anybody who that resonates with and they're getting frustrated with divine timing, yes, it's true, but there's also the missing piece is taking inspired action towards what you desire. So if, you know, in your case, Alara, you were, you know, doing other things with your life and you weren't looking for it, but someone who is really, really wanting a relationship right now, and that's what they desire, they truly desire, it's about getting into being open, but also getting into inspired action. And that's what I help people do is, what are those inspired actions and what do I need to do to align myself with love and to bring in exactly who I desire in, you know, with the traits and all the specifics around it, and not wait. So it's going from being passive energetically to being the creator, being the co-creator, being in that powerful position of saying, I'm going to be open and co-create with the universe, but I'm still in the driver's seat and I can, you know, move with the energy. I don't have to wait. So that's one distinction I really want to make, is people can get stuck in the divine timing and really get frustrated as the years go by and think, well, like, when is this divine timing going to happen? You know?
Exactly. Why am I still waiting for the divine timing? Is it ever going to come? You know?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And so, you know, and the truth of the matter is, sometimes we create that divine timing by the actions that we take, those inspired actions that we take.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's about moving into an intention. An intention is a powerful energetic signature of what you desire. So it's like sending out an energetic, you know, what do you call those, flare guns or whatever, into the universe as an intention to, you know, move in that direction of the energy rather than waiting. And so it gets you into the action and being a creator.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be honest, you know, I actually did do that too, you know, so like I don't know when, you know, because it's like time has, like, I have no idea, but probably after I separated, no, I don't even know. But at some point I had made a list of what I wanted in a relationship, in my perfect mate or perfect whatever relationship. And I had written it down. I remember I was at work, you know, so I did this when I was at work, and, you know, then I put it away. Right. And then when I left the government a few years later, I was packing up everything. I found the list. Right. And by this point I had met my now husband, and it's like, oh my God, everything I had said, except for maybe one, everything I said, you know, has come true, you know? So it's like,
Yeah. I mean, people kind of laugh about that, but that's an incredibly powerful tool that I used myself. That is the same thing. When I looked at the list, I was like, oh my God, it's all the same. You know,
and it's a short list, 8 things, 6 things, something like that, you know, not long, you know, but yeah.
And if people are stuck, I advise them to go deeper into it. So for you, your energy was really aligned, so you didn't have to do much of that. But if you feel stuck, if anyone is watching feels stuck, I encourage you to go deeper into that energy of being very specific And I talk to people about not just the traits of the person, but how do you want to live your life? What is your day going to be like? How are you going to be interacting? Are you going to go away on weekends? Are you going to be, spending afternoons together? How do you want to live your life and your daily existence with that person? And that really, really solidifies the energy. It brings it into the 3D, like Elena was talking about, and what I was saying to her, we need to ground this and manifest it into this 3D world of our life here as humans. You've got to get really specific about how you want to live your life on a daily basis and how your partner is going to be part of that specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a question from Carol. She says, I'm feeling very critical of my husband of 15 years and less tolerant. What is the best to do?
Okay. That's a very good question, actually. Let me just tune in. And it's similar to what I was saying earlier about the hot flashes. So when we get to a certain stage in our life, we really start to see all of the things that are out of alignment for ourselves in our life that we are not willing to put up with. So I would reframe that and say, it's not that you're being, I will talk about the critical thing in a minute, but first look at it as, okay, I'm actually noticing the standards I have for myself and the way that I want my life to be. There's some gaps here, and I'm noticing the difference. I'm seeing the gaps. What I'm experiencing is not what I want and what I desire, and the gap's getting bigger. So how can we close the gap? So first thing is not being hard on yourself, because it feels like you feel a bit guilty around being critical and you don't really like yourself being critical or unhappy with your situation. So that's one thing, is release the judgment around being unhappy with certain things or having these standards. That's okay. It's perfectly okay. It's the way that you deliver the message. So for Carol, I would sit down and really say, okay, what are my standards of how do I want to feel and how do I want to live my life? What are my values? And what is the gap here? And anything that you notice when you sit down and think about it, either meditate or journal on what are the gaps in your standards that feel less than for you. And then notice anything that you can do for yourself to actually bridge that gap. So if it's, like I was saying earlier, feeling appreciated or having more fun or adventure or all these things you feel are missing, and you're kind of projecting it onto your husband, see anything that you can actually do for yourself first, and then anything that's left over, once you have done those things for yourself, then you can go and have a conversation with him and just saying something like, I'm noticing that the way things are right now, I don't feel as happy as I did a few years ago, and can we talk about it? And just opening up the discussion about it. But for you, it's really about releasing the judgment of being a critical person. You're not being a critical person. You're just noticing some gaps here. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I love that. And yeah, and don't judge yourself for being critical. Don't judge yourself for being aware. And, don't judge yourself for wanting something different,
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going to take some more questions and talk a little bit more about some spiritual practices that are actually keeping love away from you. We touched on that yet, so we will in just a minute. But before that, I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about the special offer. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. And those of you who are on the phone, you can go to alara.at/show /Eleanor8. I'm going to just, I'm talking in a minute. Hold on one second. I'm just going to share my screen as well so that people can actually see the offer as we are talking about it. So 1 second. All right. So this is Eleanor's special offer, the Sacred Love Activation Package. It includes some MP3s as well as a love activation and alignment session. So Eleanor, you want to talk a little bit about the package, the MP3s and so on?
Yeah. So basically this includes the one-on-one session with me. So the whole intention behind this package is to release, clear, align, activate whatever needs to happen in the energy for you specifically to release anything that's in the way of you having this loving relationship that you desire. So it's for people who really feel either they have, had many kinds of dysfunctional relationships, they have trouble finding a healthy relationship, keeping a healthy relationship, or they've spent many years alone or isolated or feeling like just, there's no one out there for them. So anyone who's resonating with those kind of experiences, those are what I personally went through myself and I have overcome. So that's why I am very passionate about helping people to find the love, to overcome these issues with relationship patterns, to stop being isolated and alone and feeling just really like, oh, there's no one out there for me. So that is my whole intention behind this package, is to help you have some of the happiness and joy and intimacy and love that I have now in my life, that I have overcome after so many years. I don't even want to say how many years. I want you to have that experience that I'm having right now. And another message is that you can have love. So I work with a lot of people who feel almost like, oh, it's never going to happen for me. So I also want to tell you it can absolutely happen for you. Anyway, so that's the intention behind it. So all of these recordings, activations, healings are taking you on a journey on every level, energetically, emotionally, mentally, through these patterns that you've created through no fault of your own, to be either disconnected from yourself, to forget who you are as a person. So the truly me activation is connecting you to who you really are at the core. If you have forgotten or become, disconnected from that part of yourself. So that's what that activation is about. Mm-hmm. To clearing old relationship patterns, to raising your frequency and your vibration, to be able to receive love at a higher level. So sometimes we're, kind of keep attracting the same kind of relationships where it's the narcissist or the unavailable man or the emotionally unavailable man or whatever it is. All of those kind of patterns, to shift that by raising your love frequency, by opening your ability to receive love. That's another activation, which is very important, because we can do a lot of work, but then we're still blocking ourselves from actually receiving the love. So that one actually is really important as a MP3, one of my favorite activations. And so through the 8 or 9, I think it's the 8 activations and healings, take you on this journey through yourself to know and witness and accept yourself at every level, so that you can open up and start to receive this intention for love and magnetize it and bring it towards you. And the one-on-one session with me is 45 minutes. So it's where I tune into your energy specifically to help you. And it supports everything you've done with the activations already. You actually don't have to listen to them all before having a session with me, but it goes together so that I can individually tune into your energy and what your specific situation is, to help you have the breakthrough and get the clarity you need for your own energy, as well as intuitively tuning in and giving you practical advice, because I'm very a practical person. I use, the psychic awareness and the healing energy and all of that, but I'm also a very practical person. I want to know, okay, how does this translate into my daily life? How does this, how do I use this in my day-to-day life? And how can I experience this in my day-to-day life in a tangible way? So the intuitive guidance that I get from Source is always intentionally leaning towards that, to give you strategies, techniques, what you need to do to take inspired action for your specific situation, to bring in this love relationship. So that's all part of it's a very powerful session to totally get you on track, have a breakthrough in your awareness, and give you the tools and techniques to take away with you for the rest of the journey. So
awesome.
And all that's for 147. Mm-hmm. Very good deal.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you. So again, all of that is available at alara.at/show/Eleanor8. Please do take a look at it. And so that does include the 45-minute personal session plus the 8 MP3s and activations, healings, processes, so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you said, Eleanor, that that you give people practical tools and practical processes, because that is so important. It's not just about the energetic; it's about in our daily lives. How can what can we shift and change, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's I love energy work and I love healing work, but it has to translate also into our life. Otherwise, it's a huge piece. We are humans and we are living this life here, and we have to have the enjoyment on every level and the experience in a visceral way that's in the 3D as well. We've got to bring it all together.
Yeah, absolutely. So so one of the things we hadn't talked about was spiritual practices that are actually keeping love away from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of them that's very important that I had to really work with for myself was perfectionism. So we look at the spiritual practice is, having standards and having intentions for what we desire. And, the spiritual practice that people encourage us to do is, okay, what do we desire and what do we can have it all and all these things and don't accept anything less and have high standards. That's the spiritual practice. And how we can get trapped in that is by doing the perfectionism thing, which I did. And that's, okay, I have to overcome all my physical illnesses first. I have to completely get rid of all my anxiety. I have to have perfectly clear skin. I've got to, like these, I'm talking about myself here. My digestive issues have to be perfect or totally cleared up before I can even think about having a relationship. So you can see how many years will pass you by if you're actually in that and you're telling yourself, you're kind of fooling yourself and saying, oh, but I want to have high standards. I want to have a really, high elevated experience. So I have to get to my best self first. I have to be in my highest potential before I can attract this kind of relationship. And there's a bit of that in the twin flame, information out there where it's like you hear to attract a twin flame, you have to be, it's your most enlightened, I'm being a little facetious, but a lot of the writing about it talks about, you've got to be so clear of all of your issues and be really, really, really high vibe in order to even be considered to be a twin flame or be able to bring that twin flame into your life. So that's where if we have a sort of a tendency or a leaning towards perfectionism, we can get so caught up in that and entangled and really just keep ourselves stuck for so many years like I did. So the way to, unravel that is to look at the fact that you can have an amazing, supportive, loving relationship as you're working through things. Like Alara says, your quirks, you've got these things or issues or whatever it is that you're dealing with. There are people out there who match your energy, who want to be with you, who are going to love you no matter what. And they honestly don't care if you have anxiety or you're still working through digestive issues or you've got, family issues or whatever it is you're dealing with. They don't care. They just want to love you. So holding out for when I'm perfect, then I'll allow it in. And you may not even realize you're doing this. So if this is resonating with you, think about that. If you're alone and you're like, have certain standards, are you actually saying, I need to be perfect before I can allow? What if someone wants to love you right now? I always like to say this to my clients, like, what would you do if your true mate walked through the door right now and was just like, oh my God, and they want to talk to you? What would you do? Would you run away? Would you hide? Would you say, oh, no, I'm not ready yet? No. Go back through the door. I can't see you yet. You can't see me yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, were you going to say something?
No, but that makes total sense. So, that is what we do. We're like, no, not yet. I'm not ready. I have to be perfect first. And that's for not just for relationships, but for all sorts of different things. We're waiting for perfection, waiting to be perfect before we'll start. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the spiritual practice is, being at your highest vibe or your greatest potential. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the trap is if you fall into the perfectionism thing and get all tangled up in that. So really watch for that, and just, you've got to embrace and embody the truth that there is someone out there for you, many, possibilities, who want to love you right now as you are.
Mm-hmm.
As you are, no matter what.
Absolutely. So there's a question from Karen. She said, I'm too shy to speak, but could you please give advice or do a short activation today to help me stop attracting men who want to date other women while dating me? I thought I'd healed all that, and now repeating it 40 years later. I'm 56 and still alone, been alone most of my life.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, and this happens a lot. So this, for anyone who resonates with this is going to help them. So what happens is we fear having the full attention of someone because we don't feel like we deserve it. And this is fairly subconscious, so I would just sit with this and allow it to sink in, because what's really underneath this is that you actually want them to have somebody else, because having their full attention and their full love and being 100% present for you and available to you in full witness of who you are and being right there with you is terrifying. That's really what's going on. And as soon as you can actually face yourself and witness all of yourself and be able to be fully present with you, you're going to stop attracting those men, because you're going to want someone who is 100% present with you. And I can see it almost like visually as someone who's standing there, gazing at you, and you're not looking away. That's the energy you want to get to. So look at all the spaces that you're still really terrified to fully witness yourself, and that'll start shifting the energy for you.
Awesome. So Karina says brilliant and spot on. So I guess Karina also resonated with that question. So thank you for that, Karen. All right, anybody else have any questions coming up? I'm just going to tap back in and see if there's anything else that we missed. How to shift your energy from passively waiting into powerful receiving. We talked about that, and we did the process around that as well, right?
Yeah, and it's really just intentions. So getting connected into your desires, and then taking the desires and creating an intention. So saying, I intend to have someone who is fully present with me. I intend to receive love that matches my own love for myself, or whatever it is. You can get as specific or as general as you want, but just really moving into that energy of, I intend to have this. I intend to have this, rather than, I really wish there was a guy out there who would do this or that. You can even feel the difference in the energy of that. That's a passive. That's, I wish I had a relationship. Why do I have to, be alone? And why can't this shift? And I'm not making fun of anyone. I've been in that situation where I would sit and pine away like, oh, why am I alone? And, I wish I could have someone. Why don't I have someone like this? So moving from that energy into intention. You know what? This is enough is enough. I intend to have this right now. This is what I intend to receive. That's the energy you want to be in.
Awesome. I love that. I love the enough is enough, or stop,
Yeah.
Stop.
Exactly. We have to snap ourselves out of it sometimes and say,
yeah,
okay, this is done. This is over. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Is there a replay available? Yes, the replay will be on YouTube and on the podcast on the replay page later today. Yes. Yeah. So, because this is a really, it's a hot topic, right? Love and relationships is a hot topic, and dysfunctional relationships, especially. It's like, how can we not necessarily heal our dysfunctional relationships per se, but how can we manage them in a better way now? So let's say, for example, let's say that, thank God I'm not married to my ex-husband anymore, but that relationship was like so bad, so bad, but I stayed with it for 18 years, because of the kids. Like, I'm going to stay until the kids are older, until they're, that's not really healthy for anybody, including the kids, right? Mm-hmm. But what could I have done differently?
Yeah, so if someone is actually in a very dysfunctional and chaotic relationship right now, I want to see what comes through for you. So let me see.
Or narcissistic. Linda.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah. So when I connect into the energy of that, you have to actually find a space. So literally, physically, find a space for yourself to start going within. So whether it's journaling, meditating, spending time in the bathroom by yourself, you have to actually become aware and clear of what is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when we're in a chaotic relationship or a dysfunction is going on, we're just living moment to moment. It's like we're being thrown around like a bag in the wind, and we're only 1 minute in front. We can never really get a handle on what is happening. So you've got to actually stop and give yourself that time, that space. I don't care if it's 5 minutes a day, where you look at and you intend to face 100% what is going on right now, and being clear on what you're experiencing and what you're living. So that has to be clear enough for you to shift it. If you're what's happening or how you feel in every given moment, you're never going to shift that way. You have to actually stop and get the clarity and awareness and be willing to witness what you have been part of, what you've been experiencing, what you've been involved in without judgment. And then you can move forward from that clarity. So that's the biggest piece. And anyone who's in a relationship like that right now, you've got to be willing to see exactly what you are living in this moment, emotionally, energetically, mentally, all the things are going. So like taking stock of what's happening right now. You got to be really clear, honest, move aside any wishing to, deny or say it's not that bad or whatever. You've got to be 100% honest with yourself. Radical honesty, I call it. And then say, okay, this is what I'm living. What am I going to do about it? Or what am I willing to accept this? Or do I want to move on and change? And that's the point you have to get to. That's probably enough for now for people to hear, because that itself is a big piece to get really clear and then make the decision from there. Are you willing to accept this? Absolutely. Or do you want to change it?
Yeah, I love the radical honesty, radical clarity, radical acceptance, all of that. You have to.
You have to, yeah. You have to. Without beating yourself up. That's the thing, without beating yourself up. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what choices you made, it's fine. It's not about that. It's about where are you now and where do you want to go?
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to ask just one more question around, so let's say, because, in the past, people have always talked about, all right, if you want to have a new relationship or have your love mate come in, you have to make room for that person physically, and energetically in your heart. So can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so that's part of seeing what you're living right now. So that's like sort of an extension. So even if, say, you're by yourself, you're looking for somebody, and you're saying, I really want a relationship, I really want a relationship, I really want a relationship, yet, you're working 60 hours a week, your place is cluttered with stuff, you would have absolutely no space for someone to come in. That's why I make it really obvious, and I say to you, what would you do right now if your mate walked through the door and was like, hey, or you're at a coffee shop and he walked toward you. Are you ready for them? What would happen? Or are you completely in chaos right now? Is your place full of clutter? Do you have absolutely zero time for anybody? So you've got to take stock of, are you ready for this relationship? If this person walked through the door right now, are you truly ready? And so that's what I when I tune in around making space and all that, it's the reality of, if this person was here right now in your life physically, not just, in the energetics, they showed up on your doorstep or at the coffee shop, what would you do? And would you be ready for them? If you're not, then start making plans and changing things around and making space for that person to be here. Because that's a huge thing. If you're like, on the one hand, I want a relationship, why isn't my mate showing up? Why don't I have a relationship? And yet your life is completely closed off, and every angle, every aspect is closed off to a relationship. You've obviously got to start changing that to be ready right now. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally. And so, and that's the thing you also want to, you know, like, would you also recommend visualizing somebody coming into your life?
Yeah. Visualizing, spending time being, I would say visualizing your day together, how you want to feel. So if you're not a visual person, what also works is writing things down, like, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel around them? What do you want to be doing with them? So it's using all parts of your, you know, your brain and also your energy. With visualizing, if you're not very good at visualizing, then you're writing things down, tuning into your feelings. If you're not good with feelings, then the more practical stuff. What do I want to do with them? So getting it from every angle, and then making physical space for it. So you're making sure that you've got everything covered, basically, without leaving anything out. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, are you ready to be loved? Are you ready to be acknowledged? Are you ready to be appreciated? Right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's, we forget, because we're so busy asking for something, we forget to look at, are we ready for it? Do we want it? Are we truly open to it? You know, so again, it's we get away from projecting out there into the world, like, you know, where is he? Where is my relationship? Why am I alone? You know, and projecting all of this stuff out there. You got to turn it around and say, okay, I want a relationship. Am I ready for it? Am I open to receive the relationship? You know, what do I want to be doing, feeling, and seeing and experiencing? So bring it back to yourself, because it's not a myth. We actually do create things from within ourselves, and then it shows up in the outside world. That's true, but in a practical sense, we've got to stop projecting out there into the world that, you know, like, I want this, why don't I have it? And turn around and say, well, what am I, where am I, and what is my part in this, and what can I do to bring this in, and how can I be a creator and in divine inspired action to bring this into my life? What can I do?
Yeah, exactly. And coming from a place of inspired action, not from lack, right? Not from something's missing, but also
Right.
from believing and knowing that you deserve love and that you are lovable, right?
Yes, exactly. And that goes back to looking at, okay, even though I have all these things that are so-called wrong with me, I still do deserve love, that we all deserve love, that there is someone out there who will love me for everything that's going on in my life right now. And that's part of self-acceptance and allowing love to come in, because the universe wants you to be loved, and you deserve love, and you are loved. So everything that is, like, if you feel that it's being blocked or you're not getting the love that you want or desire, it's because something within you is not ready to accept it or not willing to allow it to come in. We have to take responsibility for that. And again, it's not blaming ourselves. It's saying, okay, something within me is just not willing to receive this somehow. Because why? Because I'm doing a perfectionism thing, because I think something's wrong with me, because I'm not actually ready for it, because I'm not open to it. Those are some of the things that we can be doing in our energy in our life to block the love from coming in. And we have to be willing to look at that without beating ourselves up for being in that position. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with, you know, creating all kinds of blocks and barriers to love. There's nothing wrong with you. All you have to do is shift it and shift the focus, shift the intention, start creating things, getting into action, doing the inner work of acceptance, and move forward from there.
Absolutely. And you can move forward and work with Eleanor with the package. So if you'd like to work with Eleanor in a 45-minute one-on-one session, plus there's 8 MP3s, which are healings and activations. They are available at alara.at/show/Eleanor8.
And your dog agrees.
I was trying to keep him quiet, but he's like, napping, not playing. He wants to do something else. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you so much for the wonderful, beautiful process at the beginning. I loved it. You know, it was lovely. And it was not just calming, but it really does bring you back to that space and state of self-acceptance and self-love. And that is the space where you begin to really attract anybody else in, or or even bring in a new relationship of any sort, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's about trust and being willing to open up to love, even if we feel the fear of loss. That was the theme that came through in the beginning. Just being afraid to open up again because, well, I've had so much heartbreak. And it's remembering that we're so resilient and that our heart can regenerate and repair itself, and we can have love again, that we just have to be willing to open up to it.
Absolutely. And remembering that you are lovable and that you are loved and that you are loving and you are a magnificent person, just you being you, right? So, and you are deserving and worthy of it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing I was hearing is like, come as you are. You know, that's a message for today. Just show up as you are, show up who you are in your full brilliance and, you know, imperfect perfection, and show up and receive what is there for you, the love that is there for you.
Beautiful. I love that. And, you know, thank you everybody for all of your questions and your comments. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, thank you. The replay will be up later. So definitely go back and watch it. And for those of you who are, like I said, interested in the package, please do take a look at it. I mean, you know, just a 45-minute session alone with Eleanor is going to give you a huge, not just a boost, but she's going to give you practical tips and processes to move forward so that you can receive that love that you desire. Or, you know, if it's something that needs to be healed or fixed or changed in your current relationship, she can also help you with that as well.
Yes.
As well as those powerful MP3s that you can also use and listen to shift your energy, raise your vibration, and, you know, magnetize that love to you that you're looking for, that you desire, that you do deserve, right? So
yeah, I'm very excited about it. It's a very powerful package, and I'm really happy to be able to share some of it with your audience today and do that process and really connect with all of those who I feel passionate about helping you experience this love that I've been talking about. So thank you for having me here and being able to do that and share this with you.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for being here with us and sharing as well. And you've gone through the journey, so you know what it's like. And when you do find, you know, that love, that total acceptance, you know, that no judgment, it really is the most, for me anyways, has been the most freeing type of relationship where you can just be and not worry about anything, you know. And it's such a blessing and such a gift. And I say it all the time. You guys all have heard me say this so many times. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful, you know, for the relationship that I have with my husband. I am so grateful. But I've had other relationships, right, that were not that great. So I know. So I really appreciate. And so this is also about appreciating you, appreciating your journey, not judging it, you know, not beating yourself up, but appreciating where you are now, and also looking at, okay, what do I want to create moving forward? Because you are a creator. You are creating your life every day, every moment, right? So thank you, everyone. And next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
So much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.